So, you've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. You've been studying, repeating phrases, maybe even practicing in front of the mirror. At this point, you feel like you know the grammar. You know the words. But somehow, when you speak, something still sounds off. You don't quite click with people. You're not making mistakes. The grammar isn't wrong, the words aren't misused. Something is just not clicking. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 small but powerful changes you can make to start sounding more natural or like a native speaker, the kind of English that actually helps you connect with people. Because speaking like a native speaker isn't about using perfect sentences, it's about using the right ones. Tip number 1. Use contractions and reductions. One of the easiest ways to sound more natural is to start using contractions and reductions. Native speakers almost never say every word clearly or fully. They shorten them in a way that sounds more relaxed. For example, instead of saying, "I am going to eat," most people say, "I'm gonna eat." Instead of, "Let me help you," it becomes, "Let me help you." Or, "Do you want to?" becomes, "Do you wanna?" These aren't mistakes. This is what fluent English actually sounds like in everyday conversation. That said, make sure you practice these reduced forms enough so that your speech still sounds clear. If you're not used to them yet, it's easy to mumble or drop sounds. And be careful when you're in more formal situations, like speaking to a CEO or during a job interview. In those cases, it's better to stick with the full forms. But in everyday conversations, using contractions and reductions will instantly make you sound more natural and fluent. Tip number 2. Swap out textbook phrases for everyday English when speaking. The English you learn from textbooks is probably too formal or stiff for everyday conversations. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it sounds more appropriate for writing or formal situations. When you're speaking casually, the goal is to sound natural and relatable, not overly polished. So how do you recognize textbook phrases? A good clue is this. If it sounds like something you'd write in an essay or a business email, there's usually a simpler, more relaxed way to say it. For example, instead of saying, "I would like to inquire," you could say, "Do you mind if I ask?" It's still polite, but much more conversational. Or instead of, "I intend to go," you could say, "I'm planning to go," or "I'm gonna head out." You don't have to unlearn formal phrases. They're still useful in writing or professional settings. But when you're speaking with friends, co-workers, or in everyday life, choosing simpler, natural phrases can help you connect more easily. Tip number 3. Read the room. Adjust your word choice and tone to the situation. Sounding fluent isn't just about grammar. It's about knowing how to speak differently depending on who you're talking to. Native speakers naturally adjust their word choice and tone depending on the situation. With a close friend, you might say something like, "Yeah, totally," or "Nope, not yet." But if you're talking to your manager or someone in a more formal setting, you'd probably say, "Yes, that's correct," or "Not yet, but I'm working on it." If you use the same style of speaking in every situation, it can feel awkward, not because your grammar is wrong, but because your tone doesn't match the moment. The more you start paying attention to context, who you're talking to, and what the situation calls for, the more natural and fluent your English will sound. So if you've been feeling like your English is technically correct, but still a little off, remember this: it's not about being perfect. It's about sounding real and appropriate for the situation. Start using contractions, swap out overly formal phrases, and pay attention to how different situations call for different tones. If you're not sure how to do that yet, don't worry. We'll have more videos to help you identify these patterns so you can become more situation smart. These small changes will help you sound more like a native speaker, and more importantly, they'll help you feel confident when you speak. Keep practicing and you'll get there. Subscribe to our channel so you can keep learning how to sound like a native speaker